All right, awesome. Thanks. Welcome, Ashley. We're so excited to have you
Yeah,
here today.
so
Um,
excited to be here.
yeah, thanks for agreeing to chat with, well, it was supposed to be Sarah and I, but chat with me today.
Yes.
So, yeah, so Sarah and I met Ashley a month ago, right before all the COVID
Yeah.
quarantine craziness.
Yes.
Yeah, and she actually just really inspired us with her story. And so we asked her if she'd be willing to come and talk. So we're grateful that she's here. So yeah, we'll just go ahead and get started with some questions about your RTC residential treatment experience.
Yeah.
Or if you want to kind of give a background, go for it first, and then we'll dive into the question.
Yeah. So I'm assuming that you're more wondering about my like teenage RTC experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually have been to several residential treatment centers in my life, but when I was 16, I went to Cross Creek, which is it's not open anymore, but it was a program that I was in for 15 months when I was 16 until I was almost 18. And yeah, that is the program I'm assuming we're focusing on. But after that, I ended up relapsing after that and going to a couple other residential treatment programs. And I ended up staying sober when I was 23. So kind of but so I do have a lot of experience in residential treatment centers. But yeah, I mean, as far as like the academic component goes, like I would love to share what was really helpful for me and that kind of stuff. So
Awesome. Yeah. Well, and I appreciate you sharing, the ups and downs of it, is because sometimes there are those relapses, and obviously it's not the end of the road, right? There's hope,
right,
and there's, sobriety is a journey. So I appreciate you
right.
pointing that out. But yeah, so of all those experiences, how would you say that those experiences within those treatment centers have impacted your life?
So um they definitely taught me that I can do hard things and that I am capable of living a sober life. Now I've been sober for 7 years and I have a completely different life than I did back then. But one of the things that it taught me was just that I can do hard things. I mean, you're thrown into this completely different world, and yeah, it's like a huge shock to your routine and everything like that. But yeah, it just, once I completed the program, it felt really good. And I was like, wow, I can do this. Like I am capable. So
That's awesome, and congratulations on 7 years sobriety. That's
thank
amazing.
you.
So
Thank you so much.
yeah, awesome. So, I'm sure maybe there was a little bit of resistance and things to going to a treatment center. So what was kind of your thought process and emotions as you first were entering those?
So when I first got to treatment, I was definitely in denial. Like I just was, I mean, the 15-month program, I mean, eventually I got to the point where I was like asking to go to treatment. But when I got to the program when I was 16, I was in denial. I was mad and sad, and I couldn't believe my parents would send me here. And, it was, I think that's a pretty similar reaction when you're that age and you're getting thrown into a residential treatment program. But yeah, I mean, after about 2 months, I was like, well, I am not going anywhere and I might as well just make the best of it. And that's what I did. And I just was able to kind of open my heart to it because I knew I wasn't going anywhere. And then I was able to, just take advantage of what they were offering me.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome. And I was actually going to ask that, as kind of how you worked through the resistance, and kind of when you had that moment of, okay, I got to make the best of it. So were there
yeah.
were there staff members there that kind of helped with that process, or like did they do fun academic things to get you engaged and excited, or what did they do to kind of help that process?
So I have a therapist. I had a therapist in that program when I was 16, and we still to this day talk. And that it's been like, what, I was 16, so it's been like 14 years since I got there.
That's awesome.
But we still to this day are, he's one of the most impactful people in my life. And as far as like the academic component goes, um, I wish that my teacher, it wasn't like, I wasn't super jazzed on school when I was there. When I got to the program, I had a 0.9 GPA.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know how that's possible to get a 0.9 GPA, but I did. And then I ended up graduating high school there, and I graduated with a 3.5. And so that is something that, you know, I'm super grateful for. And I mean, the staff members in my program, they are like in my heart forever, you know, because I actually ran into one at the conference that we were at, my old cross country coach from that program. And I just like gave him the biggest hug, and I was so happy to see him because he played such a huge role in my program experience and in my life, you know, so.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so what advice would you have for other students who are kind of, you know, like yourself, kind of in denial and not wanting to do school? They're kind of resisting that academic component and resisting the growth. What advice would you have for them?
That they should definitely just take this time where there's no distractions from the outside world. Like, you have this opportunity to just get your school done, so you should just do it because I would have never graduated high school had I not gone to the program I was and I'm 30, and I'm so grateful that I graduated high school and that I have my high school diploma, and I ended up graduating 6 months early. And yeah, so I am so grateful that I had that time to just focus on my schoolwork, and there was no outside distractions. And so I would say that, yeah, like, you should definitely take this time to just focus and get it done, because it's an opportunity that you won't most likely ever have again.
Yeah,
So,
definitely. Well, and I love that because, you know, you mentioned a 0.9 to a 3.5. So not only is
right.
it possible to graduate high school, but it's possible to do it exceedingly
Successfully.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right, right,
successfully and graduating, you know, with a high GPA and also early. I mean, that's great.
right.
That's awesome.
Hmm.
So I think
Yeah,
that's very helpful for some of those students that might find themselves in that situation where it's like, well, I'm not smart enough, or this isn't possible. It's like, yes, it's
exactly.
possible.
Exactly. And I was that person. I was like, school's not for me. I was on the brink of dropping out. I was already going to the alternative high school in my town, and I was actually going in there to tell them, like, hey, I want to get on packets, which is like, I was planning on basically dropping out of school.
Yeah,
And that's when I got picked up to go to my program. So
yeah,
yeah, I wouldn't have graduated had I not been there. So
yeah, awesome. And so you mentioned, you know, that there were a lot of key players there at the treatment center, the therapist, your cross country coach, those type of people. Were there other like fun activities or different things they got you involved in that kind of gave you hope in like, hey, I can be this person, or gave you leadership roles or any opportunities like that?
yeah, so I was actually the cross country captain. When I got to the program, I never like, running was, no, I was not into that at all. But I got involved basically just because we had two options for sports. It was basketball or cross country, and I'm not a basketball player. And so I actually really fell in love with running out there. And it was so interesting because I had just came from this life of, I was this 16-year-old crazy party animal that was, you know, that was my life. It revolved around drinking and partying and older guys and drugs and blah, blah, blah. And then I went to this program, and I started running cross country, and I absolutely fell in love with the challenge and being involved in this team atmosphere. And I just loved it. And I ended up becoming the cross country captain after I had done it for a few months, and it was awesome. Like, I felt so, I was empowered, and I felt like I could do these things for the first time in my life. Like, before going to the program, I never thought that I was capable of doing something like that, or even running 4 miles, you know, like, but it was amazing to see how much growth happened from, you know, not only like the things I accomplished with cross country, but graduating school, graduating the program, getting good grades. Like I never thought that I was capable of those things. So
Yeah. That's awesome. And I love that they had that involvement where you could have those opportunities to
right.
feel empowered. And, you know, because that's a big thing we believe here at Mountain Point Academy, is to try to allow students to feel success in other areas of their lives so that they know they can also be successful at academics and have a better
Right.
future. And that was part of the reason we wanted to talk to you, because you just embody that so well. You know, you've been there, you've overcome, and it's just so inspiring. So we get so excited about stories like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, kind of moving forward then. So you left Cross Creek, and then you mentioned you kind of were in and out of other ones because of relapses. And so what were some of the hurdles that you faced after you left the RTCs?
So one of the big things that, I mean, I don't regret like my story at all. It was, I mean, I regret hurting my family and all of that, but we've kind of all grown from it, and all of us have become better people because of everything that we all went through together. But one of the things that I would do differently, or if I had a kid that was in a residential treatment center, what I would encourage is, I wish I would have gone straight to college after I graduated, or gotten involved in something that that I was passionate about, because it was like I got out and I was kind of like, well, now what? You know, like now what do I do? I don't have my cross country team. I don't have all my friends that I met in the program that all understand what I was going through. But I think that if you jump into something that you really care about and are passionate about, it can fuel that fire and kind of, you know, push you towards something better. And I didn't really do that. Like I had always wanted to go to hair school, but I just didn't sign up, and I ended up just getting a job and kind of working. And I wish I would have done something to challenge myself and to get more involved. And then when I ended up staying sober, when I was 23 and I got out of treatment, I did the pathway program through BYU Idaho, and I got a job that was really challenging, and I loved it, and I was good at it, and it kind of like lit that fire. And it just kind of was one thing after another that really just pushed me to be a better version of myself. And I think that was key in staying sober. So
Awesome. I love that. And so you mentioned kind of, you know, you went to college and got a job. And so tell us a little bit more about what you do right now as a career and what made you decide to go into that path.
So I work for an electronic medical record company called Aliva, and we basically provide the software for treatment centers to help them run. And I have done sales and marketing for a really long time, and it's been kind of just my thing that I do. And so my brother actually started at Aliva, and when he told me what he was doing, I was like, no way, like that is like my dream job, to be involved in this industry and be able to utilize my skills. Like I am so jealous. And then eventually he was like, hey, we're hiring, you should apply. And so I did, and it's been just amazing ever since. And I feel so grateful to be a part of this team that is basically, you know, helping treatment centers to take their facility to the next level and be able to have their staff spend more time with their clients instead of so much time doing paperwork. And that's kind of the goal of Aliva. And it's been just an incredible opportunity for me to kind of still be involved and give back in some way. So
yeah, that's awesome. I love that it's kind of come full circle, and you've been able to still be involved and provide that meaningful experience for other students, because as you're, like you said, taking that time of we'll do the paperwork, we'll take that off their hands, that gives those people the opportunity to spend with the kids and help them
exactly,
you know, further their future. And so So
Mhm.
that's awesome. And so now that you've had this experience both with being in a treatment center and then also on this other end where you're helping
Mhm.
treatment centers, are there any like myths or stigmas that you've been able to kind of shed light on or help them to strengthen their programs even?
So, well, as far as like myths and stigma go, I think that like being a somebody in recovery or somebody that's going into treatment, or I think a lot of times parents would think like, I don't want my kid to be like known as this person that's been to rehab or whatever. But you know, after everything that I've gone through, it's like I don't even really know or care if people like are judging the fact that I've been to treatment and whatever. Like it's just it's part of who I am. It's made me a better person because I've, you know, gone through all of this, and I am a very open book about it. Like I will share, you know, and I like to share my experience because I feel like it gives meaning to it. And I try really hard to be able to use it for something good. And if there's, you know, anyone that wants my feedback, or they, you know, just need any sort of information from me and my experience, like I'm more than happy to share. And um, yeah, I feel like some of the best people that I know, they've been through treatment, they've been through addiction and overcome it. And I don't know, I think that coming out on the other side is, it's not easy, but you can learn so much about yourself. And it's, everybody has their thing, you know.
They do.
And
They do.
so it's just cool to be able to I don't know, just be open and authentic about it, because a lot of times people, I'll tell them my experience and they'll say, oh, my son or daughter or my niece or this person, they're going through that.
Yeah.
And able, in order to have those like authentic conversations, you have to be honest about like what you're going through. So I don't know if that answered your question at all,
Yeah,
but
totally. And I think you nailed it right on the head, like that, you know, mistakes or your past doesn't have to define who you are. And like
right,
you said, it makes you the person that you are today. You know, those
right,
experiences and challenges just make you a stronger person in the long run. And that's part of the reason why both Sarah and I got into education for, you know, mostly residential treatment centers, is because we want those kids to realize, hey, like there's hope. Like this doesn't have to
right,
be your life. You know, there's,
right,
it's a challenge. It's something that's a setback temporarily, but you have the skills and you have the abilities to overcome and become a stronger person in the end. And so
right.
I love that we were able to talk to you and that you are open about it because you're right.
Yes,
I think that's so key, because people, it's nothing to be ashamed of, you know, it's just,
right,
it was a learning experience. And like you said, now you're in this career that you love and you're able to help other people. And
right.
I just think that's so awesome and inspiring. So thank you
Thank you.
for sharing
Yeah,
with us. And
yeah.
do you have any last parting words of advice for students or parents who are dealing with this situation?
Yes. So, for the students, I would say you can do hard things, and that by just giving up the resistance to the program and just focusing and taking the next right step every single day, it's going to pay off. And then, like I said, just find something that you love and pursue that, and, you know, be tunnel vision on that and just focus and keep going forward. But I mean, for somebody that's just getting to treatment, like, you're there, like just give it everything you have, and, you know, just try, just give it your all, and then you're going to come out on the other side and be amazed at what you can accomplish. And for parents, I would say you're doing the right thing. Like, don't, I know that when I first got to treatment, my parents were a mess. They're just like, okay, we just sent our kid to this 15-month long program. Like, are we doing the right thing? You know, and they were a mess. But, you know, your kid is probably going to be writing you letters saying, come pick me up, this place is horrible. And that's kind of what happens. But you're doing the right thing. And I would just say to parents, like, encourage your kids to keep going and to find something they love, and, you know, be active, and, you know, get involved and feel needed. And I think that's important to just find something that you love and jump into it with both feet. So
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. And as part of your therapy in treatment centers, kind of backtracking here a little bit,
yeah.
did they also have like family therapy and different things like that to help the family heal too?
Yes. So especially the program when I was 16, we had seminars every 2 months, and then there was family seminars, and my parents and my siblings, they all went to this seminar in California. There's was a couple different ones, and then we kind of worked together. But truly, I think that everybody has to heal themselves. Like it's kind of an individual healing process, because it's traumatic for your family to go through, living with a troubled teenager or whatever. And so I think everybody kind of has their own individual journey for healing. And but you can take it as an opportunity to make your life better in whatever role you play in the situation. And so I know that, with my parents, my dad, he's a teacher in Southern Utah, and he teaches at Dixie University, and I've gone into his class, and we've been able to share. He actually teaches teachers to be teachers. So we've gone in there and talked to these students that are about to be teachers, and told them like our story and how they can see, red flags or whatever. And so now my dad is in his own way using the experiences that we had for his, like to make things better in his life. And so I think it's really cool to see how, the pain can be worked into something good eventually.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. I love that, that it's not just a personal thing, because there is family involved and the growth. And I love that, these treatment centers are doing that, where they're having the families get involved so that everyone can heal. And like you said, turn it into a good learning experience. And that's awesome that your dad teaches people how to be teachers. I'm sure he does definitely applicable things, so that's
right.
great. But yeah, thank you, Ashley. We appreciate you, and
Yeah.
sharing your story. It was awesome to talk with you.
Yeah.
And yeah, we appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.